older than I was then. And then we were in a relationship. And she brought that energy. And it was strange to me because I was always this chill guy. And she was always confrontational, always daring. If I don't do this, what will you do? It's strange to me. So I was like, please sit down. So she sat down. I think I was in my second year or third year in the university. I said, I have observed you over time. And you are always confrontational. You are always asking me, what will you do? What can you do? As if you are expecting me to do something. The truth is that there's nothing I can do. I cannot be physical with you. I have never been physical with anyone, any female. I said, the only thing I will do is to walk away from you. Because this doesn't align with me. I don't stay in this kind of environment. It's beginning to affect me. And then she told me calmly where she was coming from. And that was how I knew that the relationship she just left was a violent one, where the guy will hit her and they will fight. And it starts from little disagreement. And then the guy will be like, if you don't do what I'm saying now, I'm going to do this. And then because the guy has threatened, she would dare him and then the fight will start. So she wanted to dare me, or that was her way of that was how she understood relationship. And they labeled her this stubborn girl. She was stubborn and all those stuff. So over time, people started asking, what did you give to this girl? What did you do to her? I said, nothing. I don't know. People know how she was, but she's just like this. This is how she is. So when you lead, you have the capacity to influence people. You don't force people. You influence them because it is what you bring. They say it takes two to fight. It's what you bring to the table as a man that will set the tone how the relationship will go. This same person that time too would not apologize when she's wrong. And me, I'm big on saying sorry when you are wrong. And over time, she was like that. So one day I called her. I said, why do you find it difficult to apologize? Instead, you corner yourself in a space and be acting as if someone is oppressing you. I said, why do you do that? When you are wrong, you should take responsibility and apologize. And then she told me that when she was younger, each time she did something wrong at home and her mother is upset, the moment she says sorry is when the mother will strike and say, sorry for yourself, and hit her. Sorry for yourself. So she figured for her, it is better to be quiet because she might not be hit if she's quiet. So now she found it difficult to say sorry, or then that time we're together, because she didn't know how I will react if she opens her mouth to say sorry. She didn't know if I was going to get more angry with her, because each time she said that at home when she was growing up as a young girl, the mom got very upset. So you see, people come from different places. Well, that's why we talk about being patient and listening. There are people's attitude sometimes is because of where they are coming from. And as a leader, you might be able to help if you are patient, if you are listening. Leadership encompasses a whole lot. You must leave aside those your impulse feelings. And try to know. Try to know sometimes what is going on. Give the person many opportunities to explain. Don't assume you know what is going on.
That's the piece of communication.
That helped. And even with my wife too, on our early stages, we really didn't date for long, but at the early stages, there were things that she did, and I was like, no, don't do that, because I am me. But she had a picture that she didn't want. So coming to be in a relationship with me, even though we were friends for a long time, I started seeing this defensive mechanism in her, and I was like, babe, what's going on? And then I knew why she was like that. And then I said, no, don't be like that. You must judge me on the strength of my character, not on the basis of someone else's.
This is your safe space.
Not on the basis of someone else's actions. No, they are the way they are. I am me. This is I have come to provide some level of safety. Dwell and express. Find expressions in it. Don't be defensive. Don't be scared. Be yourself. So that for me is profound. There's a lot on demand. There's a lot. We must understand that being a man is not just about having beards and all of that. You must learn. It is a responsibility that you must carry and shoulder it.
I mean, it's amazing to see how all the professional tags attached to leadership
Everything,
can play boldly and clearly in the home front
everything,
and in
everything.
relationships. Because the truth is, even when I talk about it, even in parenting and in supporting mothers and fathers, I keep saying that we do a lot of leadership in our workplaces. We know how to talk so nicely in the workplace. We know how to be very kind in the workplace. When we get home, we become tigers.
It's an error.
Why it's not supposed to be. The home front should be the safest of place. Do you get what I mean? Why do we have to have those unhealthy patterns? If I mean, I had a session with my boss today, and I could just sense a sense of support. I could sense a sense of, oh, are you all right? Can I hear your own part? Do you think I can help you better? And that's what leadership is. And if as a man you are getting into a relationship and you're not thinking about how to make your partner better, which is supposed to be both ways anyways, but what I'm saying is, in terms of supporting them to be their best version or to bring out the best in them to some extent, because obviously, like you said, if it didn't do, that one is another conversation. But there are some times where you rightly identified that this person had a childhood trauma. Your job is not to fix people's dysfunctionality in relationships, but in the side where you bring in leadership and the person is willing to submit to your leadership to support them to become better, why not? You get what I mean? So I'm really grateful that you shared that lived experience or lived out experience with us. With me, it's not us, it's two of us. I keep forgetting. I deal with a lot of people, so I'm always forgetting.
Yeah.
Anyways, I have two more questions for you. I wanted to do three, but I think I'll just throw in that last one will be for you to just share, what concepts you think that men who are struggling can use, to, or like a practical advice. That one will be the last one. So as soon as you answer this fourth one, you can just go ahead and share the practical one. So there's a lot of pressure on men to either be dominant or risks being labeled as Sims. That's the common word now. Sims. There's a red pill conversation. There's Andrew Tate. There is people everywhere. I was having a conversation in the office yesterday about how young, in short, why the conversation even started was how young boys are still killing their girlfriends at this age and time in the Western world. Girlfriends are still being killed. And I was having a conversation about how somebody was saying, oh, look, my boyfriend used to sit down and watch Andrew Tate from morning till night. The red pill conversation is a big thing everywhere. And sometimes people don't even realize that they don't, instead of them to either be dominant or they'll be labeled as Sims. So that's, how do men, how do you think there is a misunderstanding about the true leadership that looks like, that would look like in a relationship? What's your perspective of that? Instead of them to be dominant, they risk being called Sims. I don't know if you understand the question. There's a lot of pressure on men to either be dominant or risk being called Sims. So do you think there's a misunderstanding about the true leadership, what true leadership looks like in a relationship? What's your perspective on that?
Thank you very much. You have basically done half of this job. You see, you are just talking about the people we listen to. You have talked about Andrew Tate and his brother. You see, there are many of them like that. You must understand that the words you listen to and the things you read consistently over a period of time have the capacity to influence your decisions and your actions. So you must be intentional what you listen to and what you read. I listen to Andrew Tate, but I know why I listen to him. I listen to him so that I will know him. And when I see people who are listening to him, it will be difficult for me to identify them. He cannot tell me how to behave. I am the one that will tell him how to behave. Yes, she has some strong opinions that I share, some very strong about certain things. Now, I had told you off camera how a local government chairman